bit cheeky. I got a little bit out of my comfort zone, you know. During the filming of this role in this character, I felt oppressed, like an American slave, like a lot of struggle. I studied the art.
Samson, you look great tonight.
How hard was it for you to change your accent?
As a little boy from Manchester, I think, I struggled a bit with the dialect, right? But to really get into character for this quite astonishing role that I took on, to say the least, I put it all on the line.
Druski somehow managed to ruffle feathers across Britain, Hollywood, and every serious acting circle in London, and all he really did was put on a British accent. His latest skit, British Actors Are Taking All the Roles, lands because it's completely absurd, but also just close enough to a conversation people have genuinely been having for years. Druski plays Samson Dubois, a fictional British actor supposedly from Manchester who keeps getting cast in every heavyweight Black American role imaginable. Slave narratives, gritty street dramas, awards season press runs, fake entertainment news ambushes, the whole package. It's essentially Hollywood's Black prestige drama pipeline compressed into one ridiculous character. And because the internet never lets anything breathe, people immediately started connecting the dots and calling out real names. Damson Idris was the first one on everyone's lips. He played Franklin Saint in Snowfall, and a significant portion of American viewers were genuinely caught off guard the first time they heard his real voice.
In the morning, the first drink I always have is a tea to stick to my lovely British roots. Oat milk, 2 sugars. Sometimes I'll do a green tea, sometimes I'll do a peppermint tea, little bit of honey in there. If I'm at work, I'll do a coffee, more specifically a caramel latte, and I get to eating. My on-the-go breakfast is, the majority of the time, it's oatmeal, maybe like some berries. I try to stay healthy when other people are watching. At home, I'm a maniac. Eggs, full-on English. Beans are very important. Bacon, sausages, 3 toasts, not 4.
So when Druski leaned into that intense American street drama performance, people made the connection almost instantly. Damson himself actually responded, and he was laughing. That reaction said a lot. He clearly understood the joke wasn't aimed at him personally. It was aimed at a pattern. Then the wave kept growing. Other celebrities and comedians started chiming in. 6 Lack summed up the whole thing pretty cleanly, saying Druski might tell a joke, but he'll never tell a lie. Jesse Wu joked that SNL could never pull something like this off, which speaks to just how cinematic and polished Druski's sketches have started to feel. Kev on Stage jumped in as part of the reaction wave, too, and the comment sections were full of celebrities and regular viewers laughing right alongside each other. At that point, this was no longer just a viral skit, because Druski didn't simply crack a joke about accents, he accidentally cracked open one of the most quietly debated conversations in Black Hollywood. Why is it that Black British actors keep landing so many of the most significant Black American roles?
Black British actors taking over Hollywood has been thriving, but not for the reason people think it would. The first thing, he goes, I'm from Manchester, but he's doing a southern Cockney accent. What? Americans, for the most part, can't tell the difference between most British accents. To them, it all sounds the same, unless you're like Scottish or Scouse or something. Then they might hear the difference. And then what was funny for me, I watched the video first on Twitter, and the comments, everyone was like, yo, the accent's so good. How is he switching it? And I'm there like, this is a good accent? I feel like most British people can do like a pretty decent American accent. We watch so much American TV, like we just be code switching daily, like period. The other way around don't really apply though, because Americans don't watch that much British TV. And 2, when they do try to do one, it's always some like posh Bridgerton accent. Although recently, because of Top Boy, I'm seeing way more people trying to attempt the new London accent.
Okay, so we don't talk enough about Black British actors playing roles in Black American film, especially when it comes to historical Black American characters. Now, today I just learned out this whole thing about Cynthia Erivo, and as I learn more about it and potentially get my heart broken, which I hope I don't, This has been something that I have been screaming for such a long time. David Oyelowo, who is somebody that I have had disdain for a very long time, playing MLK and other figures, while actively not only talking negatively about Black Americans, but only dating white women, etc., has been a really, like, somebody who has gone past a lot of these conversations, while John Boyega is somebody who is on the other side of that, who has consistently used his platform to amplify Black people and to give a lot of respect to Black Americans. This is a very complex topic, but I really hope that we begin to raise it up. And drop your thoughts and let me know if you have any feelings about this, any of your experiences, and feel free to stitch this and let me know.
And to be clear, nobody with any sense is arguing that Black British actors can't act. Nobody serious is questioning the talent of Daniel Kaluuya, Idris Elba, David Oyelowo, John Boyega, Damson Idris, or Cynthia Erivo. These are genuinely skilled performers. Several of them are flat-out brilliant. The problem has never been that British actors lack ability. The real tension is something more specific than that. Hollywood keeps turning to British actors to portray a very particular kind of Black American pain. And for many Black Americans, there's something deeply uncomfortable about watching outsiders receive widespread praise and awards recognition for stories that are rooted directly in their own history, their own trauma, and their own lived experience.
This role in this character, I felt oppressed. Like an American slave, like a lot of struggle. I studied the art.
Why are Black Americans' cultural experiences often told by outsiders? We're talking about Idris Elba, we're talking about Damson Idris, we're talking about Cynthia Erivo. Specifically Cynthia Erivo because she spoke so ill of Black Americans before she played Harriet. Playing characters like Aretha Franklin, Celie off The Color Purple, but had zero respect for the culture in which these characters come from. Acting is about transformation, so I don't blame the actors for taking on these roles. They do good in the roles. I find it funny when Black Americans benefit the least from telling our stories. There would be so much authenticity that can come from a Black American person playing these roles. There'd be more intention in my mind. I need Damson Idris to play a hood character from LA. For example, Daniel Ezra from All American, Spencer James, that is a very Black boyhood. Who's somebody who has to literally study the language, study these people, as opposed to somebody who probably was actually brought up in it. There's so many Black American actors who this is their real life experience. I think they also believe that Black British people are more palatable, less politically tied to Black, American identity. Black American culture is so globally consumed, right? But it's not protected.
When a British actor plays a generic American character, most people don't think twice about it. A superhero, a detective, a villain, a lawyer, a spy, nobody's losing sleep over that. But the moment the role becomes tied to slavery, police brutality, civil rights, American street life, poverty, or Black American trauma, the conversation shifts entirely. Because those aren't just roles, those are cultural wounds. And Hollywood has a well-documented love affair with those wounds, especially when award season is on the horizon. The plantation scene, the grieving mother, the civil rights monologue, the fractured family, the street figure with hidden depth, and the film where racism is the villain, but every frame looks stunning. And then, more often than not, the industry turns around and flies someone in from London to carry it. That doesn't mean the actor is doing anything wrong. Actors act, that's the job. If Damson Idris walks into an audition for Snowfall and delivers something undeniable, of course he earns that role. If Daniel Kaluuya brings the strongest performance to the table, of course he deserves to be in the conversation. The issue isn't the actor stepping through the door. The issue is why Hollywood keeps swinging that door wide open for some, while many Black American actors feel like they're still waiting outside, knocking just to tell stories from their own lives.
Samuel L. Jackson on Hot 97, talking about him not really feeling comfortable with Black British actors adopting American roles, where he feels like actual African American actors could give it a bit more oomph. There's a different feeling, as he would describe. What are your thoughts on that? Because there is a tension and some sort of disdain where you have, the Damson Idris and Daniel Kaluuya's coming over, and they're doing great jobs as far as I'm concerned. But how do American actors feel about this?
You may not be able to afford one of the American actors. But maybe you can afford this British actor who will come over and do it for less. I understand what Samuel Jackson was talking about, in particular with my friend David, playing Martin Luther King.
Yes.
Because I felt that what he was very good at was creating the public persona of Martin Luther King. But what I felt that he lacked was the personal side, when Martin Luther King is with his boys and he's not in the public and he's talking with regular guys and he's using the N-word or whatever else that we would use when we're in our own company.
Yes.
He was still doing the public persona of the character.
Samson works as a character because he feels like 5 different actors collapsed into one. He's the British actor earnestly carrying a slavery film. He's the one who nails a flawless American accent for the entire shoot, then the second the director calls cut, he's back to full London. He's the awards circuit favorite, sitting in an interview chair, explaining in careful detail how he had to research and study struggle. He's deeply committed to portraying Black American trauma, but there's a layer of distance underneath all of it. And that distance is where the joke lives. For a lot of Black Americans, it lands hard precisely because it says out loud what people have been quietly thinking. Why is it always you walking through the door when the role is about our pain? But in fairness, Black British actors aren't arriving from some utopia where racism never existed. A Black actor coming up in South London, Manchester, Birmingham, or East London is not automatically some polished Shakespeare-trained robot who floated out of drama school completely untouched by the real world.
The public pledge towards the Black communities through the Voice newspaper ahead of the local elections on the 7th of May. And honestly, it made me stop and think. Not just about him, not just about the Green Party, about politics and Black Britons and the relationship that this country has had with Black people for generations. Because every election cycle, politicians suddenly start speaking directly to Black communities. They appear in Black newspapers, they make promises, they say they hear us, and they say they care. Many Black British people are sitting here asking, where's the long-term investment? Where is the structural change? And where is the accountability after election season ends? Because this conversation is more deeper than one political party. You cannot just tell Black British people to move on from racism, when many of us are still living inside of those consequences of it every single day. This country was built on slavery, colonization, and exploitation. Black people were uprooted from their countries, stripped of their identity, enslaved, dehumanized, and brought into a system that profited from Black suffering for generations. People always act like racism is gone because it doesn't always look like it did in the 1950s. But racism didn't vanish, it evolved.
So when Americans raise that point, Black British actors might reasonably push back and say, fair enough, but don't mistake us for people who grew up untouched by hardship just because we have different accents. That's exactly where this debate starts getting complicated. Black Americans are largely talking about ownership of a very specific history, a very specific pain. Black British actors are largely talking about recognition of their own struggles and the legitimacy of their craft. And Hollywood sits comfortably in the middle of both groups, acting as though this entire conversation begins and ends with who gave the best audition. But Hollywood has never been that simple, and everyone knows it. British actors frequently come from theater backgrounds. They're trained extensively in dialect work. They're practiced at fully dissolving into a character. To American casting directors, they can feel like a fresh face with serious credentials. And for reasons that are worth examining on their own, British training still carries a particular kind of prestige in Hollywood that quietly influences who gets called in. And yes, some of them are simply exceptional performers. That part is real too. But the uncomfortable question doesn't go away just because the answer is complicated. If a story is specifically rooted in Black American life, should Black American actors be the first ones considered? That question is not unreasonable. Representation can't only count when the camera is rolling. It also has to count in the hiring room, in the paychecks, and in who gets positioned as the recognizable face of a community's history.
It's amazing the accent that you do on the show because you really seem like you're an American.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's, well, that was the object, I guess. That was your intention. How did you do that so well?
Wow. So I have a dialect coach. His name's Druski.
Okay.
And he's from West Side Connection. He raps with...
Oh, the rapper. Okay.
Yeah, real OG.
Okay.
And it was amazing.
That's your dialect coach?
I know, right? So you could understand I was petrified all the time.
Druski is operating at a level of internet comedy where a single sketch can carry more cultural weight than an entire television segment. He has a clear understanding of what makes viral comedy actually work. It has to touch something people were already feeling before they even pressed play. The skit itself can be completely absurd, but the observation buried underneath it has to be precise. The idea of British actors sweeping Black American roles is not a new conversation, but Druski did something specific with it. He updated it for the Damson Idris prestige television and online debate era. He built it a character, gave that character a voice, and loaded it with just enough truth that everyone walked away with something to argue about. That's the formula. That's why it spread the way it did. The skit is not calling Black British actors villains. It's pointing at something quietly absurd, the sheer regularity with which Hollywood looks across the Atlantic whenever it wants a particular brand of serious, weighty Black American storytelling. That pattern is what Samson Dubois exists to expose, without ever having to say it directly. Druski didn't invent the Black British versus Black American debate. That conversation has been running for years. What he did was hand it a new meme. He put a face on it. He gave it an accent. He made it ridiculous enough that everyone could laugh, and accurate enough that everyone had something to argue about the moment the video ended.